Season 4 of My Hero just wrapped up a few days ago, and thinking back, there was a lot of good moments from this season. Several that I'm straight rewatching on a daily basis as some kind of routine. It got me thinking, of course, of the legacy of the show so far and what would be my updated list of best moments. To me, what compromises a great My Hero moment is to show some kind of powerful character moment, reflects on one of the core themes of the show, is masterful in its emotional punch, has some unforgettable story progression, or does something to elevate the excitement of a scene in some meaningful way, all which I'll touch upon when discussing each scene. Regardless of how far you get into the show, the ending of the first episode still sits so prominently in my mind when thinking of the show as a whole. All Might's speech to Deku and Deku realizing the sheer magnitude of the offer in front of him sets up the framework for the whole journey we're about to embark on with this character. Maybe not in the literal sense, but it's hard not to relate to some degree of that feeling of desire to achieve a dream and feeling like it was never possible. Imagining how it'd feel for your little hero to provide that opportunity to you is something that still hits home and even says a lot about the strength of All Might as a character to offer up the power of one for all to someone so deserving. Saving Bakugo is probably not a moment that is remembered as clearly as many of the others on this list, but this quick 2-minute scene to me is one of the best Class 1A character moments in the whole show. It was between this and Deku, Todoroki, and Ida fighting Stain, but ultimately this won out just due to the larger cast of Class 1A and the harder emotional impact. Seeing the evolution of the students is one of the most endearing parts of My Hero, and seeing the culmination of them working together, understanding the abilities of one another, not only to save someone, but to save one of their own, was super powerful to me. Also, it's hard not to feel hype when everything slows down, Bakugo releases a massive explosion as the League of Villains helplessly try to reach him, and the music just blasts and Bakugo soars through the sky towards the people we've learned that he truly considers as friends. The animation, the music, and just the emotional impact of this moment puts it at number 9 for me. All Might arriving to save the students and defeating the Nomu was the first time in the show that we truly experienced the importance and security of a symbol of peace. The show does this in such a tasteful way of showing an enemy that just seems so indisputably powerful, yet makes us feel so at ease the moment All Might shows up. All Might's internal struggle of him knowing he doesn't have the power left to defeat Nomu, but not letting that stop him, not allowing himself to show any weakness, which ultimately leads to his annihilation of the Nomu. It all portrays the beauty and fortitude it takes to be a hero, and it also gives us a glimpse of the ceiling of power that Deku and the others see firsthand that shows what it means to be number 1. I'll be the first to admit that I felt like Deku's 1,000,000% moment was a bit overrated on my first watch. There's no build up, it just kind of came out of nowhere, and with a villain we knew nothing about. However, over time this grew on me, and I started to realize why everyone loves it so much. The atmosphere first of all in the scene is so tense. Deku backed into a corner with Koda, yet not backing down. Koda is where Deku was not so long ago, a young, powerless individual. I know the 1,000,000% is just for flair, but Deku literally hitting rock bottom, losing all hope and then realizing what he is fighting for to save a defenseless kid and surpassing his previous limits with no concern for his own well-being. It's just another amazing moment. It gives direct parallels with the Nomu All Might fight and further progresses Deku's ascension into heroism. While I do think this same kind of moment is overdone by another one later on this list, I do admit that this one is one of the most memorable scenes in the show and a very powerful moment for Deku as a character. I might not be the biggest fan of Todoroki, but this fight is what made My Hero instantly take its position as a top tier shonen. Coming out of an already superb series of tournament battles, this battle has the perfect combination of character growth, exciting action, and emotion. The animation and choreography in this fight is some of my favorite. For a show that relies on a lot of battles that are just brute force, it was extremely refreshing to see a fight that focused on Deku's interesting tactics with superb animation and music. Deku using each of his limbs and miscellaneous parts of his body to fire off shots gave this battle the sense of impending disaster, where Deku was running out of ammo and destroying himself in the process. Beyond all that though, the best part of the battle is just Deku's speech leading to Todoroki's acceptance of who he is and finally using his fire abilities. Todoroki's internal struggle of his self-image has been his main character trait up to this point, and seeing his first major leap of that resolved in a combination with Deku showing his selfless nature in aiding his opponent mid-battle leads to one of the most memorable, exciting confrontations as the two of the class's top students go full on out. Lemillion is no doubt one of the best written characters in My Hero. Seeing a cheerful yet powerful young hero who worked his way to the top through pure hard work and optimism lose all of that in an instant is nothing less than crushing. However, in a split instant, Mirio shows what makes him such a special character, and that being a hero goes way beyond your quirk. People hate on the slideshow's presentation of the scene, and I get it, but with the initial fight mixed in with this moment, it didn't bother me as much, and I still feel the weight of every punch and every word spoken by Mirio. Goku vs Vegeta, Naruto vs Sasuke, Corey vs Stanley. Big build-up fights of rematches of two rivals are always extremely powerful moments in any shonen. This fight had just as many mental feats to prove as physical ones. Deku had been progressing at an unbelievable fashion, both in confidence and his ability to control his quirk, something that Bakugo had been very aware of. I love Bakugo. I find his bombastic personality a brilliant depiction of him as a whole, but these quieter, more intense moments are where he shines the most. Bakugo's whole arc thus far has been craving to become the best hero in his own style, and for it to be very clear he's the best. A true fight among rivals that was masterfully animated and choreographed. Seeing Deku give it his all and finally not cowering to Bakugo was an experience to be had, and the conclusion and mostly mutual respect given at the end shows the growth of not only the characters, but their bond as well. Taking the mantle of #1 hero from All Might was never going to be something easy. Endeavor was so fundamentally different from All Might. From his approach, personality, and demeanor, it seemed almost impossible for a man like that to install the same kind of hope within the populace that All Might did. Well, in the beginning of one of my favorite redemption arcs in anime, Endeavor shows that he can. The school festival felt extremely lackluster in his presentation, and now I'm glad that Bones saved all of their budget for this fight. The struggle that Endeavor faces in fighting Hood felt visceral, with each attack, hit taken, and sweat dropped feeling like you yourself were right there. The way Endeavor yells out is so good. I just love in fights where characters are engulfed in flames and the screen fades away slowly in black and white. Endeavor eating his pride and saying plus ultra and then getting back up with his fist in the air in his own twist after a beautifully tense couple seconds of the crowd and his family watching on is just an amazing way to end season 4. Yeah, this is cheating, but it's impossible for me to watch one of these scenes without the other. Might You is my favorite song in the whole show, beating even You Say Run, and I can't even describe the euphoria I experienced watching Deku rush to save an innocent girl and then achieve 100% as he soars through the sky while everyone else looks up at him in awe, including Overhaul. It's just goosebumps to the extreme and exemplifies everything I said about the muscular fight, but in a more poetic and powerful manner. The utter decimation of Overhaul and the visual spectacle on screen when Deku is unleashing his 100% punches is more than I could have ever asked for. Deku's punches are Saitama levels of spectacle, and Overhaul's body literally disintegrates on each punch. The singular shot of the helpless look in Overhaul's eyes as he is outclassed in every manner has higher budget than, like, honestly most shows. It's a huge progression and growth moment for Deku, reinforcing the statue of Plus Ultra, and concludes the arc in an unforgettable way. Yeah, like, real talk, nothing's gonna top this moment until Deku has his inevitable United States of Smash moment versus Shigaraki. United States of Smash is the whole message of the show in one punch. We see All Might not back down and making the ultimate sacrifice in order to protect and instill hope and security to all those around him. He shows for the last time that, regardless of how powerful the obstacle, the villains will never win in the end, while at the same time reinforcing that you can surpass your limits even when you feel like you don't have the strength left inside. And while not exactly the same moment, All Might standing up, pointing, and strongly asserting to Deku that it's his turn now is the most emotional moment in the show for me. Honestly, thanks so much for watching. It was really hard to limit this list to only 10ish moments, but I'm pretty happy with the ones I selected. Definitely let me know if there's another moment that you thought was more deserving, and I'd love to discuss it in the comments. Stay tuned for more content like this in the near future, and I'll definitely see you again soon. Also check out my new outro.